Welcome. Another episode. Keeping it orange and blue. Ryan Evans Schroet, joined as always by Urbana's finest, Kevin Ducey. Game week is back, Kevin. The bye is over. Illinois beat the bye, and it's ready to take out Purdue on Saturday. What's up?
What is up, my man? Yeah, excited about this game. It's pretty cool having a bye week last week with the upsets that took place in college football. You could watch them with just a level of just watch the game, right? And enjoy it and not have any like
no money on the table, right?
Oh no! Your boy's 9-3 the last 2 weeks. Let's be real.
I was about to say, and listen, we're gonna shout it out right now. Kevin, 24-17 for Fade the Deuce. So if you guys enjoy this show, tune in tomorrow night. For anybody out there that puts money on the table, Kevin's killing it. His 60% clip. I was talking to a coworker today, Rob, who is a big time. He listens to all the gambling, betting, wagering podcasts, and he was talking about a guy who was just out of his mind a couple years ago, who's on one of those pods that was like 65%. And he's talking about how, and you're at 60. So
yeah, 55%. Like you're an industry leader, right? And listen, I'm not saying that I am. I'm just having a good run, and I had a good run last year. I was over 50% last year. My locks were not as good last year as they are this year. I think I'm getting better at it. I also talk about the one challenge is, and it's like a disclaimer, is that we take the 5 toughest games every week because we want the 5 best games on the schedule. Because we know that that's what people want to talk about, right?
Yep.
People aren't interested in knowing the dynamics or demographics of Troy versus South Alabama. They want to know about USC Penn State this weekend or Ohio State, Oregon. And so we take those games, and those are the games a lot of times like you're not running the window to bet. So, yeah, having a little bit of a lucky streak, on a little bit of a hot streak. Like I said, 9-3 the last 2 weeks, 6-1 on the locks. It's working. I think there's some methodology that I've come up with that I think is somewhat I think Vegas does have it baked in, but I think the average bettor doesn't, i.e. Ole Miss last week, i.e. Alabama this week. There's certain things that get baked in college football, and the emotions of the sport play a big part, namely my number one favorite bet, which is, Ryan, what's my favorite bet?
Home dog in prime time.
Amen, my friend. Yeah, I had to make a shirt say HDITP, man.
I was about to say we just need to get a Keeping It Orange and Blue shirt with home dog in prime time on the back.
I'm for it. Maybe we ought to go put it on our banner.
Yeah, there we go. And by the way,
I gotta let my dog out. Everybody gets that.
Go for it. I'll just ramble. I'm good at it. So just so you guys know too, since we're starting out here tonight, in less than 2 weeks, so in 12 days, Illinois is hosting this game against Michigan. You guys might have heard of. It's the 100th year rededication of Memorial Stadium, which I'm interested in going to that Friday before, Kev. I think I'm taking off to go to that. Are you going to be in Champaign on that Friday?
I am actually on Friday night. I think I might go see some of the festivities that are happening on Friday, maybe Thursday night.
That's the rededication on Friday at about 11 a.m. It's free to everybody. Yep. So I might just meet you up there, Kev. Might just meet you there for that.
But Friday night, I'm going to see a tilt between the Leroy Panthers and Gibson City Melvin Sibley, 2 top-ranked teams in 1A. My nephew, not really my nephew, but he is, Braden Fox. They call him Fox Island, lockdown corner for Leroy. Has 3 picks on the season. So going to see him play. It's not his senior night. I think it's Gibson City's senior night because it's on the road. But I'm excited to go see him play.
But the game, 2:30 kick for everybody who can't come. CBS, that's pretty awesome. If anybody watching this, we have we've got some intelligent people here, people who've been going to games for years, and if you can remind us and give us the last time Illinois was on CBS.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about it, Ryan. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Colorado game in 1990 was ABC.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe it was like a bowl game, maybe, possibly.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, that's something, though, that we can see if anybody can crunch that. We'll figure it out. But we're going to be at the game. And so we're also having a tailgate, which I'm so thankful it was either 2:30 or 6, because I did not want our tailgate, sorry, Big Noon kickoff, to be probably a 2.5, 3 hour event. So now it can be like a 5 hour event at least, or 4 or 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and being a 2:30 kick gives a little leeway to kind of some hanging out after the game, hopefully some high fives and some celebrations. 2:30 kick also, it's October in Illinois. It could get cold. The weather forecast that's way out. Obviously, there's lots of weather systems in the world today. Praying for the folks in Florida, but it's looking pretty good. So yeah, this could end up being a absolute perfection of a weekend.
And so
now, granted,
we want to start there because we have got
to take care of some business.
We got to take care of some business. We got to get that cannon back. And it's been a while, Kevin, since Illinois had the cannon. And it can, if I recall, the last time Illinois had the cannon, Brandon Peters and Illinois went into Purdue on a swampy, wet day, and Tony Adams had a pick six, I believe.
Yep.
Had a pick six off like the 10-yard line. I know they had a big. It was basically just a wet, sloppy, wet, just ugly. But they beat Purdue in West Lafayette. I just remember the guys sliding all over the field after the game. I think that was 6 years ago.
It was a long time because I mean, we're 4-15 in our last 19. They've won 4 in a row. So that's 23, 22, 21, 20. So yeah, 2019. It was the 2019 team that made the bowl game. That had the 2 miraculous wins against Wisconsin and Michigan State. I mean, we're 1-7 in the last 8. I mean, it's like they've owned us in this rivalry. I mean, like Brett Bielema says, he's never touched the cannon.
What's up, Alton? Dad Life Dion. Hey, don't worry. I still got your music, brother. We're going to play it again. Don't worry. I need to play it again. I'm probably going to play it for Michigan week. I'm just telling you.
Hey, Sean Garner asked, when will we get kickoff game? Let me just answer this.
We might get Big Noon kickoff later in the year, Kev. That's about it, though.
Yes, we had been Big Noon kickoff last year or the year before, I believe. Here's the thing: it's going to be a real challenge with the SEC and ESPN in bed together. The Big Ten is going to really have to have games like Texas at Michigan for that to happen. But man, I was just doing a little peeking. This season, things go right. Things go where you and I think they can go, Ryan. What we have coming back next year will set up for a very, very good team next year. Like, I mean, I'm thinking like we could be preseason top 15.
I saw the schedule too. Yeah.
Depending on who we have coming in, if we get Ohio State come to town early next year, there's a potential. So you're going to have to get it early. You're going to have to get something. And there's potential. So, Sean, it could happen next year. And Dave Bludgeon, 2010, Illinois beat Michigan in Champaign. It was the first time we beat them since 1983. Terry Hawthorne tracked down a Michigan player on a long, long run. We ended up holding him on a 4th down stand, and then Jason Ford ripped off some runs, and we ended up beating them.
Mikel LaShore had a couple touchdowns on the goal.
We ended up beating them pretty bad, but it was going against us. It might have been an interception return, or I don't know if Terry was playing defense or offense because I know he played both. I'm trying to remember.
And I think it was back-to-back years. Didn't we go bludgeon them in Ann Arbor, like 45 to something? Remember, we kicked their ass.
Yeah, I was there. Juice set the big house record for most all-purpose yards.
We almost had them 3 years in a row because remember what happened.
The next game was the
67-65
game.
Yeah. By the way, if you just want to enjoy a game, go back and rewatch that game. Like just offense.
I could still see Nathan running for his life on that.
I know the 2-point conversion. Yeah. By the way, Jason, and I know, look, Jason is a realist, and even sometimes if it's super negative, I just always try to rub a little orange on it. But I will say this: 2 years ago, Purdue was while we had really good players, Aiden O'Connell was their quarterback.
No, oh yeah, Aiden from Purdue. I'm going to tell you, like, don't hearken this game back to Purdue from 2022 because that was a Purdue team that played for the Big Ten championship.
Charlie Moore was a wideout.
Right.
Durham, they had a tight end named Durham who is a pro, I'm pretty sure, somewhere.
No, the game that is probably more comparable from the 2022 season would be Michigan State. We were a 16-point favorite, 16.5-point favorite in that game. Now I want to add some color to this. I've been doing some work on this today, Ryan. Michigan State, that Michigan State team was quarterbacked by Peyton Thorne. He's now the starting quarterback for Auburn. Their two wide receivers were a guy by the name of Jaden Reed. Jay Bagan, ever heard of that guy? Yeah, probably. Any Buffalo Bills fans ever heard of Keon Coleman? Yeah, those are the two starting wideouts for Michigan State in that game.
Yeah.
Michigan State was coming off. They were preseason top 50. They were preseason 15 or 14 in the nation. And things started to go a little bit sideways for Tucker. They had lost Kenneth Walker to the draft. He was the Seahawks now, obviously. That was a really, really, really talented Michigan State team that just kind of went sideways. And they had the benefit of the week before they got in a fight against Michigan. They got told, I think they were rallied around it. But the fact is that Illinois outgained Michigan State in that game 441 to 294. We had more first downs. We had better time of possessions, same number of turnovers, less penalties. Punting game killed us that game. The winds were up to like 40, 50 miles an hour.
And if you remember the Sidney Brown interception.
Yes, and then we don't score. And then we don't score.
Shut out on the goal line. Momentum right there.
But here's the thing about going into this game that you got to think about. Purdue is 16th in the conference in total passing yards per game. 16th in passing yards. Purdue. Guys, let that register. We almost had Curtis Painter on this show. Curtis Painter is the second all-time leading passer in Big Ten history behind Tua's little brother from Maryland.
Yeah.
We're 16th in the conference in passing yards, barely in front of Iowa and Michigan. They're 12th in rushing, 17th in total offense. Now, that includes the game against Eastern. I should have done just conference-only stats, right? But we haven't really played enough games yet. They're 18th in total defense. They're allowing 6 more first downs per game than UCLA. The difference between them at 18 and UCLA at 17 is the same difference between UCLA and Michigan State at 12th. So, and for context, like Purdue's 120th in total defense and Michigan State's 43rd. Like, this is a bad defense. They're 12th in passing defense. They're 18th. They're dead last in rushing defense. They give up 80 more yards per game than the next worst team in the conference. They're 134st in rushing defense in the nation. 131st. There's only 133 teams, folks. Only Kent State, who's the worst FBS team I think I may have ever seen, and New Mexico are worse than Purdue at stopping the run. Like, guys, yes, I hear what you're saying, but there's a friend of mine on the Illini guys. You guys know I talk about it. He goes by the moniker Up North Illini. And
he's a big fan of mine.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But Up North Illini, he and I have actually become a little bit of buddies because we love talking about Lions. But he's like, the only way Illinois loses this game is like if they get food poisoning, forget to show, or the weather cancels the game. Keys to beating Purdue. Show up to the stadium, finger crossed half the team doesn't get food poisoning, hope that the Purdue doesn't fire their overmatched and terrible head coach midweek, and hope a terrible weather event doesn't cancel the game. And he's more of a Wisconsin fan than he is an Illinois fan, folks. Like, listen, I am not saying this is in the bag, but I am telling you Illinois should and will win this game.
Like, yeah, Illinois is going to probably have to play its worst game in like 3 or 4 seasons to lose.
We'll probably have to go back to like Eastern. Yeah, well, Purdue last year.
Yeah, Purdue. Yeah, they'll have to play that bad. But even then, I think here's the thing: they lost some key weapons to that team. If you remember, who was it? Was it Burks? That really tough. He's on. Who's he on? USC
Oklahoma.
Or Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he's playing. I
know we can throw it to him there, but yeah.
The one downside for this game is that I will not be able to watch it live.
But I want everybody to know this. Have no fear. I will be there. So we have.
I'll be in the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, he's going to be enjoying some red rum and whatever they do there.
Red River Shootout, baby.
So we are 4-1 this year when one of us goes to the game. So I'll be at this game, and we'll both be at Michigan. So we're bringing more in. We're bringing dual aura for the Michigan game. Yeah. I'm going to try to see if we can get a Airbnb and send Kevin to Oregon, to Eugene. I know he's got some friends and family up there.
I got family there. I don't need the Airbnb.
Yeah, I was about to say he could just go up there to the game, you know.
We need to get donations from the listeners here to make that happen.
You guys were right, but it was 2009.
Got those years off. So 2009 we beat them at home.
2008 we kicked their ass in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, and then and then
that was the year after the Rose Bowl. Yeah,
that's right.
Yep, Jay Bagan, man. So let's dig into this one a little more. So
sorry, I went on my rant. I was doing a lot of research on this today. Like this is a historically bad. This is Illinois in their worst seasons. Bad Purdue. This is how bad. They
fired Graham Harrell like Graham was the problem. I mean, like, okay, here's the thing. You give up 66 points to a decent Notre Dame team at home, okay? And you score 7. And then they're like, okay, things aren't doing well here. Let's forget it and move on, right? You give up 38 to Oregon State, who literally
cannot pass. They cannot pass.
Can't throw the ball. So you knew what they were going to do. And they still gave up 340 rushing yards and lost 38-21. So the offense got 21. Your defense gave up 400 plus to a team that can't throw. So, okay, so what do we do after that? You fire the offensive coordinator. Okay. All right, whatever. Somebody's got to take the blame, right? So let's go. The defense is fine, right, guys? So let's go to Madison. 54-6, 52-6.
Yeah. They did play Nebraska tough in between there, but I think this.
Okay. We talked. I don't know if you watched that game, Kevin, and I talked a little bit about it last week on one of the shows. I do 3 shows, so one of them I mentioned that Nebraska was in Purdue's end of the field the whole first half and came away with nothing because their field goal kicker is inadequate. He missed 2 kicks. And they had a touchdown taken away on a phantom offensive pass interference. It easily could have been 13 or just 17-0. And they ended up losing 28-10. But really, it was like 28-3, Kev, on a garbage late touchdown that meant nothing. So really, they just got utterly dominated again. Nebraska should have – that game's like a 38-3 type of game. Nebraska couldn't capitalize.
Yeah, It's really weird. I don't think that we expected to see this from them, but this is a bad Purdue football team.
I'm gonna be honest too. This Mountain Dew is really hitting me hard right now. It's a truth serum, I would have felt bad for Walters, except the way that he kind of left, and had to be like real braggadocious and like putting those crazy like in his truck in his car, with his Purdue gear on when he got a couple commits over Illinois, like he was like, oh yeah, I'm here, I'm back, He's like, oh yeah, you guys better watch out, you guys know the meme, it's out there. And then he would like take little potty shots at Brett on X about everyday guys and family, and he'd be like, like those are my guys, the secondary, like thinking. So Ryan Walters is basically saying that those dudes were his guys, and
it was a joke. He handled it piss poor, and I don't think for a second that the coaching staff and Brett and some of the players are ready to kick some sand in their face.
There's only one guy that I'm gonna be honest, I feel bad for, and that'll be Reggie Love, and only Reggie, I'm telling you this, the man still graduated from Illinois. He's an Illini graduate. So, like, as much as people want to say anything, he's still got his degree from Illinois.
It's kind of similar in the vein of Coleman Hawkins this year in basketball.
Yeah, and he wasn't – Reggie Love was not going to be he was going to share time with 3 other backs, by the way, if he would have stayed.
Mm-hmm.
He shares it with just Devin Mockabee this year. So there's a reason that he left, because he knew And I'm telling you guys, and I'm telling everybody here, you guys know I talk to people. The staff told him, you are sharing carries with 3 other guys if you stay. And he said, okay, I'm out. And they were like, we don't blame you.
Well, and the thing about it is, like, I don't, especially with Khalil Valentine in, I don't know what Reggie would have brought to this team. Like Khalil Valentine is a shiftier version of Reggie. Yeah. He's not as big, he's not as strong. But I mean, there's just not a fit. Like, it's just yeah. I mean, and I really appreciate him for what he did, especially in the 2022 season, like when Chase went down, and then what he did last year. He was battling through some injuries. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I got love for love, man. Let's just be real here.
Yeah, and just remember, that dude gave Illinois fans and gave the team everything he had, dude, every time he played. You know, and so, like, really, I can't be mad at a guy who wanted to go someplace else when the staff is, like, saying, you're not the guy anymore. Caden Fagan's our feature back, and we've got other younger guys that you're going to share reps with. He got his diploma from Illinois. Also, he's back with Corey Patterson's like a father to him.
Yeah.
You know, so don't – if there's a guy on that Purdue field, on that field Saturday where you're not like, eat it, you know, fuck you guys. It's Reggie Love. Did you see that David Williams is going to be at Michigan, the Michigan game?
Dude, that's my first you guys got time for a little bit of, like, retro fandom. My first athletic heroes were Doug Altenberger and David Williams. And I had the pleasure of meeting the entire Williams family, sans David, probably like 1984, maybe 85. Like, I met Oliver, who was his older brother, who played at Illinois, wore number 17. Met his younger brother, Steven, who played at Illinois, wore number 2. And his mom and dad were there while David was on the field. The Williams family, just first-class human beings. They treated me with just such kindness. I've had the pleasure of connecting with David on Facebook. His picture was on my wall. He had a big catch against Michigan, had it signed. I don't know where it is. I wish I lost it. But, yeah, David Williams was my first Illinois hero. And, dude, he had 100 catches, 100 receptions in a season, I think, in 1985. I mean, you think about the different – like, we've not had another guy catch 100 balls since. And the game is a lot different now. It's more pass heavy. So, just really pretty cool. I'm going to reach out to him.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm going to reach out to him, see if he'll swing by. So
there's one guy that could break his record this year, too. His name's Pat Bryant.
I'm not going to get enough time. Man, dude, that's 8
catches. No.
9 catches a game. It's touchdowns.
Yes.
Touchdowns in the season. Still stands at 10, tied with Brandon Lloyd, yes.
Touchdowns in the season. I'm not saying anything else about every accolade. I'm talking about that's still a big record. I mean,
it is, yeah. And it's him and Brandon Lloyd are tied at the top with 10.
And Pat Bryant has a great chance to break that this year.
He's got 10. He's got 6 already. I mean, he should, without a doubt.
And so, yeah, Jay Bagan. Are we talking about Jacob Furphy that I broke the news for? We'll get to that at the end. Jay Bagan, if it's someone different, we can just message in the chat. We'll get to it, no doubt. So Dad Life Dion says Reggie Love's dead to him. Okay. Okay. By the way, huge shout out to John Wright, who said he's bringing in an air raid siren to
this weekend. Yeah, this weekend. Yeah.
I posted a Red Dawn meme, of course. He's that'll be fun. So anyway, the only way that I can see, okay, so you do lines. We're going to talk a little bit about it on Fade the Deuce, but let's just say this. The line, I think, moved up to 18. Is it 18 or 18 and a half right now, Kev?
It's 19 and a half. Like I said, 19. It's big.
It went up 2 points in 2 days. So I think everyone, and I don't know if anybody listened to Brett Bielema's press conference today, but let me tell you, Jason, you messaged me some stuff over the weekend about certain players not necessarily loving the running scheme. And Jason talks to players, so I believe.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's connected.
He told me that there's some players on the team that are not really happy with how they're being used in the system. It's not being fit to their strengths, Kevin. And guess what was discussed today by Brett Bielema in the press conference? That he made a very clear point to talk to Barry Lunny and Bart Miller about being more efficient with how we're using our pass game and our run game. He said, we have 4 backs here. They're really each different in their own ways, and we need to utilize them to their strengths. Brett Bielema actually said that whole what I just told you. Brett Bielema said, and Jason told me 2 days ago that a couple players were like, "Yo, like this is how I play the scheme. When you put me in the game, we're running this or that, and this ain't conducive to me for how I'm trying to play and how I can help the team. We got to get something figured out here. You know, the guard play too needs to step it up. Let's just keep it real."
No, for sure. For the interior offensive line, 1,000%.
It's just been unacceptable. I got to be honest. And I know the Penn State D line is probably one of the better ones we'll face. But trust me, Michigan's not going to play a little patty cake with them here in 12 days. That's going to be big boy football in the line of scrimmage. So I like Illinois, what they can do on the edges and the outside with some very young cornerbacks with Michigan. We recruited Jair Hill. I know. You know, we were close with getting him. He's still young. 63. But anyway, Brett Bielema wants to see some more efficiency and have more of a rhyme and reason on why we're passing, why we aren't running in this situation, when we should put Caden Fagan in the game, when we should run Aiden Lawfrey, what moment is best for Khalil Valentine. And he said there hasn't really been a rhyme or reason. It's just kind of been like, hey, let's put Khalil in now. Or
yeah,
hey.
I'd like to see us do some things where we can get Khalil on the outside. I'd like us to like maybe run some play action wheel route stuff to Aiden Lawfrey, like get him running up a seam, get a linebacker or safety on him, see if we can't throw the ball deep to him. I think this is the game to kind of see if we can create some of that stuff. But it's tough. You got 4 guys that have all had moments where everybody's like, dude, that dude's pretty good, right? And and McCray has shown it that we haven't seen since since 2021.
It's the 2021 Brett Bielema's first year at Illinois.
Yeah, under Tony Peterson, where we saw him run against Purdue and against Penn State, and we're like, dude, this kid is really, really good. We've obviously seen it with Fagan. There's been some, dude, I go back to the couple runs that Aiden Lawfrey had against Nebraska, where it's like, dude, his acceleration and his top end speed is there, and he is tough. And then obviously Khalil Valentine against Kansas late in the game has shown it. So it's just tough. There's a lot of mouths to feed. Heck, dude, we can stay on the same side of the ball and say, well, where's my guy, Ashton Hollins? Where's your guy, Malik Elzy? Where's Mario Sanders? Where's Alex Koepka-Jones? Hey, listen, this is a problem that arises when you have really talented receivers and backs, and there's only one ball to spread around, and we run a ball control offense. But I'll ask this question too: like, why isn't Iowa using Caleb Brown?
Yeah, I mean, Caleb Brown, was he transferring?
Yes. He's done he's done playing for the rest of this year. He's going to do his red shirt and look to transfer. Same with the running back out of Iowa. 2 of them in the same day. So interesting what happened there. Caleb Brown, for those who don't know, high 4-star wide receiver. Illinois was in the mix. He committed to Ohio State, went there, then transferred. Illinois was in the mix again, went to Iowa, and now is leaving Iowa. He got us last year. I think he had like 7 catches, didn't he, or something like that?
I'll have to dig into it. I know he did have a good game.
So sure. It's just challenging. It's just very challenging when there's a lot of really talented guys on our offense. It's what I said on the show last week, Ryan. I thought we were more talented at just about every position against Penn State other than the lines and running back, right? I thought our wide receiver room was better. I thought our secondary room was better. And I don't think our running back room is second to many teams outside of Ohio State, Penn State, maybe Michigan. Like, I think Minnesota probably has a top dog that's better than ours, but their room, no way it's better. So it's a really talented running back room, and those things are going to happen. Hopefully, we can do a lot of ball control and run the ball for like 280 yards on Saturday. Get a couple guys and feed some, and get Zachary Franklin a touchdown, please.
Yes, we got to get in that man a touchdown. And if you need to get Pat Bryant a couple more, that's fine too. To me, it'd be interesting to see too. Is like I saw Michigan went to Jack Tuttle.
Yes.
And a guy who, has some talent, but he's been injured. He missed all spring ball. He missed all of fall camp, and they just put him in there. And Alex Orji just wasn't doing anything. It's like when you have a guy back there who can't throw it, it just makes it really one-dimensional. Unless you're USC, you can't stop it, And it's interesting to see USC just is such a terrible rush defense. It's just bad.
They're 17th in the conference, almost 160 yards per game.
So I almost was going to pick USC this weekend, but I'm like, no, Penn State's going to pound the rock, dude.
I think they are as well. I think they're going to assert their will. Now, granted, USC has had the misfortune of playing two teams that run the ball really well in Michigan and Ohio State, but Minnesota and Michigan, sorry. But at the same time, it's just like,
it's like if it's coming, though.
Yeah.
There's one thing, like if people can say, well, look what Penn State did to Illinois. Okay, yeah, and Penn State can throw the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like they just ran it on Illinois. There was also a threat. There's this guy on that team named Tyler Warren who's pretty good.
Yeah, for context, as Illinois has played Nebraska, Penn State, and Kansas, we're 61st in the nation in rush defense. Purdue's 131st.
Yeah, I mean, and that is one. But Purdue, Jason's on the money with that. They get down early and then they're buried. Like that's how Purdue gets. Like what Illinois does not want. What's up, Bob Sneakerman? It's been a while. What Illinois doesn't want is a early, quick Purdue touchdown and a 3-and-out from Illinois, and then Purdue can just kind of, settle in a little bit. Not saying that I'm worried that eventually Illinois won't overtake them.
Yeah, on the Illini guys podcast, they had a Purdue guy on, and he said the only way that Purdue's going to keep this close is, and they're staring down the barrel of a 1-11 season, and this is one of the games that they have aspirations of winning. Is that the one way that they're going to be able to do this is to beat Illinois, but they're going to have to do it to score early. Right. That's one of the things. They're going to have to get up on Illinois early and give themselves some hope. And Illinois is going to have to take that from them early. How can we take that from them early? This goes out to all of you who are in the local area. Get your butt in the stands, sell the place out.
I'm expecting at least 55,000, if not more. I'm pretty sure we're almost there. But Illinois is great on opening drives. I feel like Illinois is going to score because they have. I don't know what Barry Lunny does, but if only he could draw up plays like that at a halftime, I'd love it. I don't know what it is about that first drive, but it's money. And you're right, Bob. Illinois needs this one against Purdue because not only are you 1 win away from bowl eligibility, but you set yourself up for – I don't think with Michigan being on a bye, Kevin, that they're going to drop out of the rankings.
No chance.
They're at 24, and it's Michigan, and CBS has the game.
They might do that to us, but they're not going to do it to Michigan.
Yeah, so I think they might be 25th at the worst, but Illinois probably close to top 20, if not just inside, because there's going to be 3 or 4 teams inside the 15 to 23 or 24 that are going to lose. A couple play each other. Oklahoma ain't beating Texas, so Oklahoma's going to drop.
Oh, watch your mouth.
Sorry. I'll wash my mouth out with lava soap. But I'm just saying, when we're going to talk about it on Fade the Deuce, and if I'll just keep it real, I'll be like, Texas is going to kick their ass. But Auburn, dude, come on. Auburn had them, and they just blew it.
Here's the thing to think about as well with Purdue is that Purdue is yielding a lot of sacks per game, just like Illinois. We're tied. like 110th in the country in sacks allowed. Now, granted, we gave up sacks to Nebraska and Penn State. We gave up some
special teams unit though. Purdue blocks punts, but Illinois special teams units are pretty damn good.
Pretty solid. But Illinois is 24th in the nation at sacks per game from a defensive perspective, and Purdue's 110th in sacks allowed. Like and they're like 94th in getting to the quarterback themselves. I think like David French, I think Illinois will be aggressive up front, get to the quarterback. I look for Illinois to cause some turnovers this game, get an interception unlike last week. Maybe get an interception or two. I think, Ryan, I think we cover the spread here. I think this ends up being like
it doesn't have, it doesn't have 52-6.
38-10.
Yeah. I like it, man. And I like it. So 38-10 is good. I'll say
I love it to be 52-7. I'd love us to just run the ball down. I think we're better than Wisconsin, but I think Wisconsin let some frustrations out on them.
Yeah, I think we'll say you said 38-10. I'll say 30. No, I'll do 40. I'll do 42-13. How about that?
I like it.
42-13. Couple field goals. They might get a garbage touchdown. Get a couple field goals. But yeah, so the cheerleaders better be on for lots of push-ups. And let me tell you, a close win is a win is a win. It doesn't matter. But a big win and kind of having that feeling going into a big week where everybody and their mom is coming back, the rededication, those uniforms for Michigan, CBS, just you're getting a prime game. I mean, nothing can top that, really.
Yeah, Purdue has 3 blocked kicks and a blocked punt this year. So yeah, they're leading tied for the nation in most blocked kicks, and then they have a blocked punt on top of it. So I mean, with the bye week, I expect Illinois to be fully prepared for that.
And they're going to be healthy too, which is good. All those I could tell you, Luke Altmaier needed a break after that last quarter in Happy Valley. There's one. I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember the sack fumble he had against Carter? When Carter landed on him, they had the camera angle right in freaking Luke Altmaier's face mask, and just the look on his eyes was like, "Get this guy off me!" Like I'm ready to get out of here. Yes, and he just told me that the spread's 19.5, Jason. So big weekend this week, heading into Michigan here in 12 days. So we can switch gears here a little bit, but before we get to hoops, Illinois they're hosting some Purdue decommits, Kev. What do you think of that?
It's the world of college football. I think they're probably going to get Caleb Brown on campus if he's got his stuff together. 7 catches, 71 yards last year against us.
Dwayne Galloway, top 400 defensive back from Ohio. Corey Parker's in on this one. Illinois had been working to try to get a visit before he decommitted. He decommitted, and they're like, "Hey, we're just happening to be playing Purdue. Do you want to come watch the game?" And you know that the Purdue staff's got to be just sick. It's not like I really care per se, but it's just there's some irony in that. And this is big for the 2025 class Illinois has got. I think they have a chance to really have a nice finish up of this class. I've liked the classes Brett's had. I think if you look at the guys and the pieces that he's adding, that they know what they need and they know what they want to keep being tough, smart, and dependable. And I think that's his process. It doesn't have to be a top 25 or top 30 class to do that. A lot of his classes at Wisconsin were like mid-30s. He even had a couple in the low 40s, while he was winning 8, 9, 10 games. So,
yeah, absolutely. What this momentum is going to provide for this season to go the way that I think you and I are hoping, because we get through this Purdue game, a game you should win. You're 1 win from bowl eligibility with 4 of the last 6 games, 5 of the last 6 games now with Michigan coming to the house being 50-50 games or better, right? Maybe Rutgers is 55-45, but the rest should be 50-50 or better, other than Oregon in your 50-50 Michigan, and then the other 3 are 50-50 in your favor.
I was going to say they'll be a favorite at home to Wisconsin. They'll be a favorite at home Minnesota. They'll be a favorite at home for Washington State. Michigan State, and they'll be a favorite probably on a neutral field at Northwestern. So
let's be real, it's not going to be a neutral field. That's going to be 70% of line, I think. So
yes, true.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and what that will yield for recruiting, and furthermore, seeing what some of our guys are doing in the National Football League is going to help. Specifically, we got guys starting in the secondary all over the place. So I think with a guy like Galloway, that's really critical. I do agree with Matthew, other than his avatar, that Illinois does need to work on getting some line help, especially next year, because we're going to lose some folks on the line, on both lines specifically, where we're going to need to replace them.
And listen, I love Dylan Rosiak's toughness, but he doesn't need to be out in the flat guarding running backs and trying to defend them.
Well, when you're running a 5-1-5, sometimes that happens.
He doesn't really belong there, and he gets out of place. And my point and why I'm hitting at this is he's upset at himself. Okay. So if you're upset at yourself, obviously you need to know limitations, and you can't help that situation you're put in. But the chances of him being able to stay in front of these fast running backs out in the flat, probably not happening. So maybe don't be so hard on yourself, because that's probably not – it's just when you get put in situations like that, and they're going to try to expose that, and that's just part of the game with linebackers trying to cover running backs. But I like what he can bring to the run game. I think, you got to have tough guys, and obviously Brett likes his intangibles. So that's good. I think they're going to rebound against a Purdue team that doesn't have much fight left in them. And it seemed like from all the podcasts that I was watching, the Purdue media thinks that a lot of those guys already quit on the coach. So.
And one of the things that you think you could with this game to lead to a sellout is you would expect, a good contingent of Purdue fans. It's the shortest trip in the Big Ten. I think for them, Indiana might be closer, but it's shortest trip for us. It's definitely a short trip. But man,
I doubt they're going to want to make this trek.
Dude, they posted something about the fight for the cannon this week, game time 2:30 on FS1 or whatever. And their fans were like, I just hope we don't lose by 4 touchdowns. I mean, they were like, ooh. So.
Yep. Oh, no doubt. I mean, these are D1 athletes. Illinois can't take it for granted. So,
yeah, they're on scholarship too, is like I always like to say.
Yep. So, with that said, we'll transfer gears to what we've been seeing, some sneak peeks, and Big Ten Media Day for Illinois basketball was recently. And, just I'm loving what I'm seeing and hearing from, Kylan Boswell and Ty Rogers. I love that Ty Rogers is, taking, he's basically saying, like, I'm the leader of this team. This is my team, meaning like I've been, an everyday guy for 3 years now. And there's some really talented dudes on this team, but nobody knows this culture like I do. And I think you're going to see him. He's going to have another big role on this year's team. I know there's some people who don't like that because they think, oh, well, he can't shoot the 3 ball, but he does so many other things. Give me your take a little bit on we're going to do a Big Ten hoops prediction here in the next couple weeks, Kev. Because basketball season is going to be here, man. They're going to be playing an exhibition game at Ole Miss in 3 weeks, Kev.
Yeah, I'm hoping there might be a practice I can sneak my way into on October 19th.
We saw some of that scrimmage highlights today they posted. What did you like that you saw from Illinois, the highlights in that?
Okay, so I was kind of shocked, like when I was watching it, that I thought Tomislav Ivicevic was Ben Humrickhouse. And I'm like, when did Ben Humrickhouse become left-handed? And I realized, oh, no, that's 13. That's not 3. Like, his stroke was smooth, really smooth. I loved the passing and vision that I saw from Will Riley. We all know that he can score. That's really what he was brought here to do. But he made some really nice passes in there. Dude, I put it on Twitter. I think we forget about Dre. Dre Gibbs Longhorn was a really, really high level recruit. He's really talented. He's really athletic. Kasparis hit a little step back 3. That ball barely touched the net. Like, they have talent everywhere. They got guys who can score at all levels, just about everywhere. And I think that's the concern with Ty, is that Ty has not shown us that he can score away from the basket. And he's literally the only guy on the team where you're like, I don't know if he can. So
Kev, you subscribe to some places you talk, and not just what you read, and you're not stealing info, but you talk to people. What is your gut feeling, and what are you hearing? Because I'm going to give you what I've been hearing. So, what about Ivisic getting cleared to play this year? What have you heard, and what is the vibe there?
So first of all, Antigua is a big plus here, right? In that, for some context here, Tomislav's brother, Big Z, was at Kentucky last year and was not eligible until 2024. He wasn't able to play in the first part of the 2023 season. And I'm understanding that Illinois, it's the same concerns, it's the same challenges, is that Illinois has a head start on that compared to Kentucky. And I'm not certain that Illinois is feeling 100% that come our first game that he'll be eligible to play. But I think that they're very confident that he'll be able to play in the early non-con.
Yep, sounds good. And just without giving names or anything in particular, I was told, and this isn't for Ryan the reporter, okay? This is for Ryan, the diehard Illini fan, who, while he gets info, he wants info because he wants to know more than anybody. I just want you to know that. It's not just so I can tell you guys stuff. I was told, don't worry, it's going to be all right. So, and that's all I needed. And it wasn't a don't worry, like just keep your nose out of it. We'll get it figured out at some point. It was like, don't worry, he's going to be playing. It's going to get taken care of. And I said, well, hey, didn't his brother have to wait until like the second semester? Yes, he did. But this is not that situation. And that's what I was told. So
I've heard it was similar and that Illinois is getting in front of it. So,
but I'm saying it's not that situation, as in they've already dealt with it. You know, Antigua has already dealt with it, as you mentioned. This isn't something brand new. This is something that they've already went through, and they prepared for that too. So that's good, especially from the highlights that we saw. Now, here's one thing. So today, Brad Underwood did the Hoops podcast with Rothstein, John Rothstein. If anybody would like to listen tomorrow. Yep, if anybody would like to listen to it, he does a podcast with Rothstein. Some of the notes that John Rothstein mentions. One, Mr. White and Began said, and Kevin already discussed. So Trey White, who came from a bad program, but he was a pretty good player on that team. He's got really good players around him this year, so he doesn't have to be the guy. He can be a guy with really good teammates who can put him in successful positions. You know, it's when you're playing like 2-on-5 or 3-on-5, it's really tough. But this year, he's going to be able to, not be facing double teams. He's going to be able to take guys one-on-one. He makes good passes. He's a really good passer. I think he looks like he's got a nice stroke from three. I know he shot about 30% last year, but I feel like confidence is another thing too. And he's been the most consistent according to Brad. But what he said about Kasparis Jasionis is what really should make you excited. Basically saying that he's option number one and he's put himself above everybody. He's elite offensively. That, he's pushed himself ahead of everybody on who's going to be the go-to guy when they need a bucket and who he has confidence in, and that all those things we've seen on film. Remember, all that stuff we saw on the film, he's passing to 17 and 18-year-olds who some of them struggle to make a layup. He's going to be finding guys like Marez Johnson.
That one nice dish where the guy completely airballed the layup. That was a little –
yeah, so I'm just thinking, take that into consideration on some of those games where he had 18 assists. He should have had 30. So he's playing with guys who can finish around the rim. and he doesn't probably feel like he's going to have to do everything on this team. It's nice to be like, hey, man, I could just give the ball to Ben Hummerkaus. He'll shoot 45 from deep. I'm good. I'll just give him the ball. He's open. Or, hey, man, Will Riley's got a mismatch in the post. I'm just going to lob it down there. Or, hey, I got a nice little fast break here. I'm going to throw it up to the top of the backboard and let Merez go get it. I'm just saying. There's just –
I'm standing on this that I think that this team will be a far better team by the end of the season than they are to start the season. I think they're going to have some growing pains early. I think they're going to show some flashes. I think they're going to beat the dog piss out of some teams in the non-conference with like the cupcakes. I think they're just going to obliterate them with talent. But I think when you play, Alabama, who in some circles preseason number one,
I'm not worrying about that game. Even if they lose that game, Kevin, that's just icing on that's just a cherry on top,
Right. You got Arkansas and Kansas City, Tennessee, Duke. You've got a lot of these non-conference games that are really difficult, and I love it what we're scheduling because that's a level of your program's arrived. But one of the things I want to talk about Trey White, right? And I got a little, I wouldn't say an argument, but it was a little bit of discussion on Twitter about like where Trey White fits. Like, guys, you got to understand this. The most accomplished basketball player at the Power 5 level in college basketball on our basketball team is Trey White. He was a first-team all Pac-12 freshman. He averaged almost 13 points a game last year for Louisville. Not only did he averaged 12.3 points per game. He averaged 6 rebounds, an assist, almost a steal, half a block. He shot 75% from the free throw line. He is a much better player than he is the guy that's probably being slept on the most. And I've thought about this a lot. Like Brad Underwood could run out a skills and dogs team, right? And what I mean by that is and I think Trey White would probably fit on both sides, but Illinois could literally run out from a skills perspective. They could run out Kylan Boswell, Kasparis, Will Riley, Ben Hummerkaus, Tomislav Ivicevic. All 5 guys can shoot the 3. All 5 guys can put the ball on the deck. All 5 guys can pass. All 5 guys are highly skilled. And literally you got guys coming off the bench to replace them in Dre Gibbs-Longhorn, Ty Rogers, Trey White, Kerry Booth, Merez Johnson. And that could be a straight dog team. And that straight dog team can still make threes, can still hit outside shots. So Illinois is, and I haven't even, and Jake Davis might be the best 3-point shooter on the team. So
he's the 11th man.
Right. And so that's a really incredible basketball team. It's going to be hard for us to keep track because the only guys we know are Ty and Dre. And it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of excitement.
I actually, as much as Purdue fans and other people like to shit on Illinois with the whole new team every year, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? I'm excited every year, I'm like, ooh, we get new pieces, right? New toys.
We lost one guy that could have stayed that really was a key contributor. 2, maybe if you count Dane.
Yeah, I would have liked Dane. But
I would have loved to see. I would have loved for Sincere to stay because I love him, but he just doesn't fit. You can see it. All right, let's talk about it. Illinois had a couple commits in basketball that came across, and
no, I don't think Bama and Illinois could ever play each other in football at this moment unless Illinois makes football playoff. Yeah, but
a weird bowl game.
They're not going to schedule an Illinois Bama probably thing.
No, not yet. Maybe. I doubt it.
I'm actually okay with the Missouri-Illinois matchups now. I like it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Well, we're slated to play Oklahoma in some bowl game by one of the prognosticators. I'm all for it. But look if you want to understand what Brad Underwood wants from a team, you can look at the recruits that we just landed. Brandon Lee, Keaton Wagler, 2 4-star kids, both top 150. Wagler's really hurt in the fact that he doesn't play a lot of AAU ball. It's kind of in that Phoenix Gill situation. But both guys have really Brandon Lee's that big point guard, and Keaton Wagler's that big shooting guard. They have positional size and length, and they both can shoot the lights out of the basketball. right? And so that's what Brad Underwood wants. He wants, and that's what you're going to get with positionless basketball. Even Morez Johnson, the athlete and the stud that he is, that supposedly ran a sub 5-minute mile, which is incredible, can step outside and hit a 15-foot to a 3-point shot. So this is what Illinois is going to become, and I think it is the conventional wisdom that aligns with the NBA game that I think that the college basketball game is going to be hard to deal with. In the college basketball game, I used to argue with people, it's like, well, in the NBA, they don't play any defense. And I'm like, the reason you don't think they play any defense is because you watch college basketball where there are at least 2 guys on the floor for just about every team that can't make a 15-foot jump shot. And so therefore in the NBA, because everybody on the floor can make a 15-foot plus jump shot, the lane's open for driving. Well, I'm sorry. When you look at Illinois now, we fit that mold. You know who else fit that mold other than what the heck was their center was UConn. And UConn fit that mold. Kerrigan, right? No, not
Klingon.
UConn fit that mold a little bit better the previous year with Adama Sanogo, who was their starting center, and Klingon was off the bench. Sanogo could step out and hit the 3. I think it's a really smart way to play the game. I think it's a really because you keep people. The NCAA tournament's about making teams adjust to you, not the other way around. That's why Wisconsin saw some success in the tournament. It's why Virginia won an NCAA tournament. It's why Virginia also lost in the first round of an NCAA tournament. But when you can make teams adjust to you based on your skill sets, that's how you win and go far.
And one guy that I want to mention here for the 2025 class, I'm glad you mentioned Keaton Wagler and Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee's a scoring machine. People can say whatever the hell they want, but overall, he's a mid-30 3-point shooter.
Like Ben Gordon.
Yeah, that's my comparison. I said Ben Gordon.
I know I stole it from somebody. I did not come up with that my own.
I said Ben Gordon, man. That's that. He'd rather take a mid-range jumper, tough, physical. You know, he's got a big body already. Not a supreme athlete, but he's tough, man. And but guess what? Both East Coast dudes. You know, like New York, New Jersey kind of guys. Like I could tell you this. If Orlando Antigua likes him and wants him, I'm okay with that, you know? Like Orlando Antigua doesn't beg anybody. He ain't taking scraps. So he's not like, man, we really just need to take anybody here. Let's just take this guy. Jacob Furphy, dude, tough as nails. Australian who had his official visit to Illinois started in the weekend and maybe ended today. I know he posted a picture today, but staff really likes him. Yes, UConn I believe is going to get a visit, but I haven't looked at, but I know UConn's. I'm not thinking is UConn going to be able to take all those guys and add Furphy into it. And from what I was told, and you know me, Kev, you know how I like to do digging and international digging. I've actually talked to guys in Australia, the Australia basketball circuit and scouts that tell me that no prestige or national championship is going to win him over. It is what is the best fit for him. What makes him feel like this is going to help my basketball career? Where do I feel like it's home? And, you know, where do I feel like my game will best be used? And and they said he's just a different kid. He's from Tasmania. That's its own little part of Australia. You know, it's kind of off the grid a little bit. And so he said his mama played basketball and raised him up in it. And he's 6'5", 6'6". He's a lefty, not athletic, but I'm trying to do a really good comparison.
Cam Spencer's what I heard.
A Cam Spencer-ish, but he's left-handed, and he's even bigger and tougher around the rim. He's because Cam Spencer's like 6'3.5", 6'4".
Yeah,
Furphy's closer to 6. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what I mean. But Cam Spencer by last year was just a tougher than nails basketball player. It's so weird how much better he was at UConn than Rutgers. So,
but yeah, if you guys ever want to watch some Jacob Furphy highlights, he's already got a nice stroke from 3. But yeah, he's tough, man, and he's a winner. high IQ. I'm talking about like beyond his years. Everybody in the international game, the FIBA NBA global games, he won the MVP in a couple tournaments, and people just say like this dude was like 17 playing like he's 25. Like he's just, and that's what the staff loves about him. So
and he was on campus this past weekend, right?
Yes, and that's something I was told that he won't probably be making a decision till later on in the fall, but I'll get a whole lot better read on things here tomorrow. So. I'll be posting. I still post some stuff on the Discord. I'll post a little bit in there, and I'll be talking about it on the podcast as well. So Illinois is looking. And Illinois did offer Alfran Diana, who's giving me Kofi Coburn vibes.
The 7'1" kid.
Yeah, the 7'1" dude who's kind of like he looks like Kofi. He
looks like Kobe, but he looks like Kobe, but he bounces like Cliff Omarui. Like he's really athletic. Like
I can dig that, but yeah, man. You know what I'm waiting on? I'm waiting on them to have their Kofi Coburn moment. Like when can we have that? Do you notice they snuck his jersey up in the rafters and we didn't even have a ceremony for it?
I don't know what to say about that. So. Maybe we'll figure it out some days. I don't know. Maybe that separation wasn't as.
I'm just saying. Come on, I'm not gonna sell it. I can tell you this: now that Orlando Antigua's back, it should be a whole lot better.
That's true. I mean, I think maybe Kofi regrets leaving. I mean, who knows?
That's his guy, though. I'm just saying, Kofi's his guy. Yeah. But now we'll get to. We're not doing a toast of champagne this week. I don't think we are. We, Kev?
No, I don't think we need to, do we?
So we're going to get to final thoughts here. And, we'll call it a night. Well, I'll let you start since I just took over for about 10 minutes talking about Jacob Furphy. I'll let you go, Kev.
Yeah, Nick Hardy, Adrian DeMont, DeChaussart both made the cut this past weekend at the Sanderson Farms Open. Hardy played pretty well, better than DeChaussart. Won himself some money. But really exciting, Brian Campbell's been battling his ass on the Corn Ferry Tour, got his tour card this week. Really pretty cool. You can go to PGA.com and check it out. These guys got their tour cards. It was really exciting for Brian. I believe he finished second in the Corn Ferry Championship. So next year, I might even start now. I don't know exactly. I'm not that aware of the PGA Tour. But at their events going forward, you might be able to see as many, you might be able to see Dietrich, Hardy, Stricker, DeChaussart, and Campbell. Really pretty cool. That's going to be awesome. So just excited. Illinois golf continues to move in the right direction. Preseason top 10. Had a really good fall. I'm not sure if it's over or not yet, but we'll look forward to the spring. And on top of it, Atkins Golf Center, formerly known as Stone Creek out in Urbana, will be hosting golf regionals in 2025. So that's huge for Illinois. That's why they put a lot of money into that place, rebuilt it. It will be it would be awesome if Illinois could actually be there and host their own regional. It'll be great for the community, drive some revenue. So kudos to Mike Small and what he's done with that program. And Sean Garner, Oregon game, is in the flex spot for 2:30 or 6:30.
Ooh, I'm liking. And you know what that means? Just like we saw this week, that means that if Illinois beats Michigan, you could pretty much guarantee it's going to be the 6:30 NBC primetime game. And if they lose, it's going to be the 2:30 CBS game. So, which by the way, here's my final thought, folks. And here it is. And I've been thinking about this. I was even telling some coworkers today this. How nice has it been for like week after week? Illinois is in these big games. They're getting the spotlight. They're getting the shine. They're getting there. Just think about this, okay? So here's my couple minutes.
There's been no Pam Ward, no Beth Mullins.
True. But Kansas, right? 6 p.m. prime time, FS1, ranked team, win the game. It doesn't matter what's turned into Kansas. Kansas could be 5-1. Like, they just can't close a damn game out. Like, that's not Illinois' problem.
They can't close the door.
They've had leads in the fourth quarter of like 4 of the 5 losses they've had. Illinois, I think, actually was leading to start the fourth, but I know it was close. It was in there anyway. So that's not Illinois' problem. It was still a big game, ranked win. Okay, let's move on, right? You get past Central Michigan. All right, you got to go to number 22, Nebraska. Friday night, everyone's watching, okay? It's all about Nebraska. Illinois is just here for the party. Yeah, hey, we're cool. We're ranked, but we're here for Dylan Raiola. Let's drool. Let's slobber all over him. Let's talk about how Matt Rule's got this program turned around. They're about to be 6-0, 7-0, heading to Columbus. No, not so fast, my friend. Illinois had second thought. No, that's not happening. Illinois was the spotlight that night. So Illinois takes that. They have taken that from Nebraska, and I'm happy Nebraska keeps winning because that makes Illinois' win there look even better. Now, what does that set up? How about another primetime NBC kickoff at number 9 Penn State, number 19 Illinois? Georgia Bama on one. People were flipping back from commercial to watch the Illinois Penn State game. And people are talking about Illinois like, whoa, so much so that you lose that game and you're still ranked. That probably doesn't ever happen, So then you get like a cupcake at home. You just got to take care of business. Still get a 2:30 kick, even with the worst team in the Big Ten. Think about that. That's an 11 a.m. Peacock game with anybody else.
Right. Amen.
Yep. And it's 2:30. It's 2:30 FS1.
Yes, that's the kicker right there. The Purdue game is the kicker.
Yep. So you get that where you can enjoy a nice day. It's going to be beautiful this weekend, by the way. Low 80s. Going to be 60 in the morning. Get up to like 81, 82. No rain. So it's going to be nice. You take care of business there. You got a ranked CBS 2:30. Hold on, what's that sound like, Kev? What's that? Anyway, so you take care of business there. Guess what? Another big game, another spotlight game. Guess what? It could be the number 2 ranked team in the country, Oregon, if they beat Ohio State. And guess what? 6-1.
I think they will.
Yes, 6-1. You think they will?
Yeah.
Okay, 6-1 Illinois. Either 6-1 Oregon, 7-0 Oregon, top 15 Illinois, top 5 Oregon. Another prime time. How many prime time, like big time matchups, ranked? Like this is like Bizarro world. Like Illinois football is at a place that I can't even remember. Like even in the 6-0 year where they played Ohio State, they didn't have like 4 and 5 ranked matchups.
No, not at all.
The 07 Rose Bowl team did not have 4 ranked primetime matchups. This is just fun. Enjoy this ride. And how will I end this rambling? Show up Saturday. Let's enjoy. Anything else, Kev?
Nope. I think you said it all, my friend. Get your butts in the seats.
Deuce is loose with the horns. Swami out.